If you have celiac disease and you live in the United States, you need to know the natural flavors policy for these three candy companies, especially as we are going into Halloween and the holidays where candy is often available and around. We want to make sure that these candies are gluten-free, and oftentimes natural flavors can potentially risk not being gluten-free. So if you're in the USA, you probably already know that natural flavors can hide gluten, and it's the bane of like every celiac's existence because it's in literally everything, especially candy. So here's what you need to know about these three popular candy brands and what their policy is around natural flavors, so you can make an informed choice when you are in the candy aisle, or if someone's offering you candy, or if candy is available and you want to know if it is safe and you're looking at the label. So first we're going to talk about Mondelez Global. They make a lot of different products like Swedish fish. If you didn't know, I'm Swedish. And while Swedish fish aren't Swedish, I think they're delicious. And lucky for us, the Mondelez Global company, when I contacted them about their natural flavors, their policy is that they always identify gluten on the label, and that they do not use, I think my video is blocking that a little bit, they do not use natural flavors to represent wheat, barley, or rye, which are those gluten-containing grains that we need to be careful of when we have to stay gluten-free. So in this, if you see a candy package and you're looking at it and you see that it's made by Mondelez Global and you're worried about the natural flavors or any of the other suspicious ingredients that you see, they are saying right here that they clearly call out wheat, barley, and rye, and they do not hide ingredients in that. So they always identify gluten on the label, and specifically they said natural flavors, they're not hiding wheat, barley, or rye, but if they're always calling out gluten and they were aware of this and they're aware of the sources of gluten, you could extrapolate that to other suspicious ingredients. Which, by the way, if you're not aware of all of these suspicious ingredients that could be hiding gluten on a U.S. food label, I cover all of those in my totally free label reading class, where I talk about how to read a food label in 4 simple steps, including when and what to look for when it comes to suspicious ingredients. And that is linked down below if you want to watch it. It's completely free. It's what I teach all of my celiac clients when they're first diagnosed, and it's also got practice problems. We'll practice together in that free class, so you can get some actual real life practice with me, kind of supporting you along the way as you're checking foods for gluten. So if you're interested, again, that's totally free. It's linked down below. But if you see a candy and it's made by Mondelez Global, you know that the natural flavors are not going to be hiding wheat, barley, or rye, and also likely other suspicious ingredients are not going to be hiding it either, because they will clearly call out and identify gluten on the label. The next company that I contacted was Ferrera Candy, and they make things like Fun Dip, which I actually, like, for some reason really like. It feels like it's Smarties, but upgraded. And when I spoke with them, I spoke to an agent there, they confirmed that there are no gluten ingredients in Fun Dip, and that natural flavors are not derived from gluten. So if you see a Ferrera Candy Company product and you're worried about the natural flavors, it's not going to hide gluten. So that's good to know about the Ferrera Candy Company. And then lastly, we have Mars Wrigley. They make things like M&Ms and a lot of the other candies you might see that are chocolate related. And when I contacted Mars Wrigley, they stated that any gluten in their products will be clearly identified, similar to the Mondelez Global company, and that they do not hide gluten in ingredients like natural flavors. So if you're seeing a Mars Wrigley product and you're worried about some of those suspicious ingredients, know that they are not hiding gluten in them, and they will clearly call out gluten. And again, if we're talking about natural flavors as a suspicious ingredient here, the main one, simply because that tends to be one of the biggest offenders when you're looking at candy, and the holidays are coming up when candy is likely going to be available. However, there are some other suspicious ingredients that you want to be aware of, and if you want my list and you want my dietitian breakdown and you want to know how to read a food label in 4 simple steps, again, the link to that free class where I teach you how to do exactly that, you learn exactly what I teach all of my clients, you can watch that free class link down below. Mars Wrigley, though, if you're looking at a product and you see that it's made by Mars Wrigley and you're worried about the natural flavors, you can be confident that they're not hiding gluten in natural flavors. So how do you know who makes a candy? Like I said, when you're looking at the label, you'll likely see it somewhere on the product. And usually I find it listed somewhere on the back of the product under the ingredients and or nutrition panel. So here we see that the M&Ms are distributed by Mars Wrigley Confectionery US LLC. So we know that this is a Mars Wrigley product. They're not going to hide gluten under natural flavors. What did I want to say about this? I wanted to say something about this. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to figure out who is making the candy. And so if you can't figure it out based on the label, you can also always Google it and say like what company makes M&Ms or that kind of thing. And that could also bring it up so you can look up or contact that company to learn about their policies. Which takes me to, if you don't see a candy listed here, right? I just listed a bunch of different U.S. Candy manufacturers and their policies, but I did not cover all of them. And just because I didn't list a candy company here doesn't mean that they don't or do share the same policies. Likely every company is going to be different. So if you didn't see a company here, that doesn't mean that they are or aren't safe. It just means you're going to need to check. And I encourage you always to check on the safety of products yourself to make sure that they meet your needs. And additionally, company policies change, ingredients and products change, etc. So never base solely if you're going to eat something on what someone says on the internet, including myself. Always make sure you're researching and staying up to date and making sure the food label hasn't changed, the policies of a company haven't changed. This is kind of just like a second reassurance, but you always want to make sure you're doing that legwork for yourself so you know if something is safe. And again, this is, if you need more help, and if you're not on Instagram because you're watching this YouTube video, but I had a similar post that I made on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I talk a lot more often about safety there. You can check the link down below to learn more about my Instagram. But also, seriously, if you are feeling unsure or unsteady or feel like it's just really cumbersome to check food labels, or you're scanning things with a label scanner and you're confused by the results, or the results feel especially scary, food scanners are often inaccurate and often can be really confusing, and also just checking things for yourself can feel really cumbersome, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. I cover it all in my totally free label reading class. It's linked down below. It is very detailed. It's extremely helpful. I've had lots of people take it and find it more helpful than any session they had with their doctor. I cover a lot of the specifics and I teach you how to read a food label simply and as quickly as possible in 4 simple steps that help really make it just feel that much more possible. If you are interested, again, it's completely free. I want to make sure that people with celiac are able to find and access safe gluten-free food in the United States. If you want this free class, again, it's linked down below. And all of that said, I hope that you enjoy some delicious gluten-free candy this holiday season. Let me know what your favorite gluten-free candy is down below. Mine personally is going to have to be anything sour. I'm a real sour candy lover, connoisseur, so I love anything sour. But let me know what's your favorite gluten-free candy. And all of that said, I will see you when I see you.